Hey guys, how's it going? Value Venture Investing here today. So today we're going to be talking about Irobot. Now, I've been eyeing Irobot for quite some time. It's a stock that I've been watching for a very long time, and I've actually spoken about, I believe, in one of my first video on what is a stock. Now, the stock has come under a lot of pressure lately, really piqued my interest, and I've actually entered a position into Irobot. Not a huge position, but I definitely think it is a great opportunity. So let's take a look at the stock right now. It's down to about 56.83. Just got hammered over the last 6 months or so. All-time highs we are looking at were about $130 per share. So it kind of hit these levels that I became a little bit more interested in it. So I'm going to explain that to you guys today. So if you're unaware what iRobot is, iRobot is a company, a robotics company, that manufactures and sells robots for the home. Namely, vacuuming robots is what they're most well known for. Also, their Brava wet jet series as well. And they also have another product coming out. So let's take a look right now at their product mix here. On the left-hand side here, we can see the Roomba vacuums. We have the 600 and E series. So these are kind of like the old ones. I myself have I think it's a 700 series. You can see that these are pretty damn cheap now at $274. However, they're not quite as powerful and don't have the features as their high ones. So these ones down at the bottom, the E series and the 6 series, I believe the E series they market as more something for pet hair. Whereas the 600 series is basically the entry level. But these are random navigating robots, meaning they just basically go around your house and randomly hit into things, and then that's how they clean it until they run out of battery. Now, I have one of those, and I think it's phenomenal. I don't know how anybody could ever live without one of these things. However, I'm very interested in the new technology that they have. Above here, you see the E series, the I series, and the 900 series. Now, the 900 series was one that came out, I don't know, a couple years ago here, and it was the first one with a camera-based navigation, meaning that it's basically taking pictures of your roof and different landmarks, couches, what have you in your house, and it's using that to effectively vacuum in straight lines, to know where it's been, to basically get all of the areas that you might have been missing with some of the other robots, and then if it needs to, it can go back and recharge and start again. The I series, I believe this one was relatively new as well. This was the first one that came out with a self-emptying bin. So the traditional Roombas, you're basically emptying the bin yourself. This one has a big bin where you have, I think it's about 30 full bins of the Roomba itself into a bag. So it's like a big vacuum thing that sucks it up. And then not too long ago here, they introduced the S series. Now this is like their premier one here. This one also has the bagless system. Well, it has a bag in it, but the self-emptying bin rather. And the power on that thing is just through the roof. So that was a huge thing. I think they said something like 25 times as much power as the I series. You can look on their website. It's not really important, but I watch a lot of these videos, and it's actually one of the most powerful vacuums. Has a smart navigation. I believe that there's only one more robot out there, the D-Bot, that has more air suction than I've seen. However, Roombas dominate in terms of carpet, so they're going to be picking up a lot more on carpet. One of the bad things though is about the competition is that they have LiDAR. They're using lasers so they can go in the dark. So that's one negative I would say about Roombas, that you need the lights to be on. The camera-based technology isn't quite as effective. So let's take a look at the other things that they offer here. They offer the Brava mop. So they also have the very bottom one here, the 300 series, is it's more kind of like a duster one. It just wets it and uses kind of like a microfiber. And then the 200 series and the M series. Now the specific thing about the M series is that it will actually communicate with the other one. So this is where I think that Roomba itself, specifically iRobot, has a competitive advantage over some of its competitors. One of the reasons I'm buying is that they're trying to kind of integrate this whole home cleaning automation thing, a little bit more effectively. So once the Roomba has went out and done vacuumed, then the M series is going to go out and it's going to basically mop your floors. Also, we see coming out soon here, I don't know when it is, the Tariffs. So this is going to be a lawnmower. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how effective that is at doing lawn mowing on your lawn, because I guess essentially it's going to be doing it often. It's going to mulch it because it doesn't have a bag, and you have to use posts in order to help it navigate. So I'm not too sure how effective that's going to be. So I've kind of discounted that as something that may not be incredibly successful. Taking an overview of the company here itself, I'm not going to go specifically into a lot of the financials, and I'm going to explain a little bit of that reason after. We've seen Irobot grow at a phenomenal rate. I mean, 2016 in terms of revenue, we saw 660 million, and last year we saw over $1 billion. You can see operating income there increased as well, and of course, earnings per share has effectively doubled as well, and that's translated into net income. I mean, 2016 they were making about 41 million. Now 2018 they're 88 million. So those are all some very promising figures for Irobot. If you actually look into some of their statistics as well, we're looking at a market cap of 1.6 billion. Now keep in mind that we have a company that's making over $1 billion and the market cap is 1.6 billion. So that's something that's very, very interesting to me. If you look at it in terms of a price to sales ratio, we can see it's at a 1.39. Now that's a very attractive figure, because that's basically saying what you're going to pay per dollar of revenue, and that's a really low price to sales ratio. I mentioned this before. I'll do a video on it in the future, but that's one thing that really gauges my attention. I like to look at PE, but more so lately I'm looking price to sales in different situations. So if you look at the forward PE of this company, it's at about 18 to 19, so 19-ish, somewhere around there. And this was a company that was trading at a PE of around 50 not too long ago here. Looking at the balance sheet, they have about $157 million in cash and total debt about $63 million. So not a huge amount of cash, but not really a huge amount of debt either. Now taking a look at the chart, I mean, I'm not usually a technical analyst kind of guy. You guys know that if you watched my channel before, but there's certain things that I follow given a lot of other criteria. Like I said, low PE, low price sales, good outlook, competitive advantage, stuff like that. And if you look at the chart, I mean, something becomes immediately apparent at the level we're at right now, 56.83. I've been watching this level, and it's basically been bouncing off this level. It's dropped a little bit lower on some news that came out lately, but it's basically been bouncing on this level. And if you look at this line that goes across the screen here, this blue line, you can see that there's a lot of support there, and this is multi-year support. So you can see that big spike in 2018 down there with the red, that is a high volume in terms of selling, and that was a point in which it stopped. Again here, a little bit later in April, same spot. And if you actually go back further in 2017, it formed support in a couple different areas there as well. This is more of an art, it's nothing scientific, but the market itself seems to be responding to that and holding that level. And so that's one of the reasons that I got into the stock when I did. So you're probably asking yourself, why has this stock tanked so much? Now, the main reason that it's tanked is due to the tariffs. Now, I'm not talking too much about all this political stuff going on, because long-term investing isn't all about the short-term noise. I will talk about it from time to time, but generally speaking, if you're trying to trade around all this kind of stuff, unless you're looking for opportunity like this, you'll end up losing. Every study that has been done indicates that short-term trading like that, you're going to lose money over long periods of time. So I don't really address these tariff issues, but they do create short-term opportunities. So in Irobot's last quarter, it was actually a decent quarter. However, their guidance for the future, they significantly dropped, and they were citing the tariffs. Now, we might have a little bit of that relief from the tariffs now, as Trump, I think it was just yesterday or the day before, said that there was a partial deal. So, well, that will happen. Whether that will happen, I don't know. What's going to happen to Irobot now from this level? So that was the main reason that happened. So if you take a look at their financials here, This was the last quarter I was talking about. So they had about $260 million in revenue. So that was significantly more than the quarter the year before. So everything was pretty much in line except for one thing I marked here, selling and marketing. I didn't hear too much about this on the marketing call, but it was 56.4 million versus 45. And that's basically what brought the net income down from $10 million to $7 million. Now, I'm assuming that has to do with all the new product launches that they're doing. They're marketing them hard, they're selling them hard, there's a lot of competition coming in. So I'm thinking that that's what has to do with it, so that might have spooked the market a little bit as well. Additionally, there was a analyst that downgraded the stock recently. It was basically right when I bought, actually. So on this day, it fell 9% in early market trading. So this stock was trading lower after Raymond James downgraded the stock to underperform, according to a report from the street. So Raymond James thinks that Irobot is grappling with increased competition in home robot space from companies like Shark. The firm stated that companies in this segment are luring customers by lowering product prices. The prices will likely impact Irobot's earnings and revenues. The investment bank expects Irobot to post revenues of $1.27 billion with an EPS of $2.40 in fiscal 2020. In comparison, analysts expect Irobot to post revenues of $1.36 billion with an EPS of $3.09 in 2020. So of course, off that news, it fell even more. And then it's, since it has recovered. So those are some valid points. So I'm giving you guys all the positives and why I think this is a great buy. I think this is a potential for a double. The time frame, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to hit over 100 again. Depending on what happens, I might sell a little bit earlier. It might come down a little bit more, but I think it's definitely a great buy right now. But he does have some valid points. There is increased competition, especially Shark. They just came out with a self-emptying one too. I believe it's called the IQ Edge or something like that. And it's effectively half the price. Some of the features aren't there, like no-go lines, which are lines that you can basically tell the robot where not to go in your house so it doesn't get hung up. The power is pretty unreal, but it's not quite as effective on carpets. So there has been a lot of lowering prices, but this is something that I've seen before. I mean, I've seen Shark come in before with their cheaper line, and that was one of the reasons that the stock tanked hugely. And this was probably a couple of years ago now. And I think that Irobot has a really good competitive advantage, almost like Apple or a company similar to that. People are always anticipating that the cheaper alternatives are going to outsell them, but it's just not something that I see with the competitive advantage that Irobot has. Everybody knows Irobot, and even if they do lose market share, I think trading at this multiple is very attractive. So I wanted to make a quick video today on this stock, guys. Again, this is just an educational channel, so just take it for what it's worth. Do your own due diligence. I think this is a relatively risky bet, but if you have a long-term horizon, I think it could be a phenomenal buying opportunity that you could even see a double in 5 years or less. So that's going to be it for today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.